Welcome back. Well, October marks 70 years since KTIV went on the air. Throughout the years, we've made it a top priority to become involved in communities throughout Siouxland, from parades to fundraisers, telethons, and so much more. Tonight, KTIV's Larry Wentz takes a look back at some of the top highlights.
The Rivercade Parade highlighted KTIV's community involvement for years. We got an outsider's look at Siouxland by bringing in NBC personalities to co-host the coverage, like Cheers star John Ratzenberger, who played mailman Cliff Clavin.
All you rose gardeners in Sioux City should be out here with buckets and bags right now.
That's a good idea. Maybe, well, I think there is a unit that'll be coming along later to capture some of that fertilizer. If you want to take some back to Hollywood with you, show the guys around.
There's enough fertilizer in Hollywood.
Hey, there we go. There's our skilled and experienced crew. I'd have put on a bigger smile.
And the Today Show's Willard Scott was here twice.
And we got on the elevator, and he turned to me and he goes, 52 large. And he goes, I know a 52 anywhere. You know? And it's like, so he always called me 52.
Scott even doing his Today Show weathercast from the Winnebago Powwow.
Live from downtown Sioux City, this is the Big Parade.
We broadcast the first big parade in 1994, now known as the Mardi Gras Parade. And what a better way to get involved in Siouxland communities than take part in their parades, now up to 18 a year. For many years, a huge KTIV camera balloon was the highlight of area parades. But the big blow-up sometimes needed a little deflating.
There were a few times we would have to unplug the balloon in order to get it underneath power cables or street lights.
And station interns always had the most important job after the parade.
We get done with the shoot and he looks at me and he goes, okay, now deflate that and fold it back up into the bag. I go, what?
That was your rite of passage, was to deflate that balloon and try doing it in the wind or try doing it in the rain.
And welcome back to the local portion of the St. Luke's Children's Miracle Network Telethon. Hello everybody, I'm Larry Putney.
I'm Larry Wentz.
For years, the live Children's Miracle Network Telethon helped raise money for children's related health care at St. Luke's Regional Medical Center.
And I think that was one of the big things, is that it helped establish a television station as a part of the community.
And we've helped promote and raise money for many others as well. And we took part in dozens of charity basketball and softball games throughout Siouxland.
Channel 4 News believes that Siouxlanders should know their local legislators. So we want to take this time to introduce you to one of our Iowa senators.
We've interviewed area lawmakers at the state capitals in Des Moines, Lincoln, and Pierre. But perhaps the most memorable community involvement of all is the partnership and slogan that evolved in 1997.
Hey, fling me a bing!
More than 60,000 bings are provided in a parade season by the Palmer Candy Company of Sioux City.
You're the one that I came up with Fling Me a Bing.
A great idea that just keeps getting better.
And that later on, after I left, you added the Hey KTIV Fling Me a Bing, which was pretty good. I wish I would have thought of that part.
What a great story. Whether it's flinging beans, helping charities, or replenishing the blood supply, we want you to know that KTIV will continue to be there for our viewers and the communities we continue to serve.